AlgoBox clips.
Let's start with something easy. Somebody had asked in the room, how do I adjust my charts? Because I had told them, hey, there's something wrong with your charts. Your charts are what I call flat. If your charts look like this, it's not supposed to look this way. So I'm going to show you guys a quick tip on how to fix that. Okay, so if your charts start to look a little bit odd, again, everything that we do here is about visualizing price. Your charts should not look like this. Okay, this is flat. If you don't know that that's flat, then you haven't seen enough of our setups. But you should be looking at my screenshots, other screenshots from other members. At the same time, take everything that you see from a member with a grain of salt. You see a member like having success and their charts look like this. You may not want to necessarily go with what they're doing here. Your charts should not look like this. So how do you adjust some charts? I'll do some quick ones here tonight. Again, we have videos on all this stuff. So if you're wondering like, well, hey, what's he talking about? Or I'm not going to be able to catch all this tonight, that's fine. We actually have full videos around each of these topics. One of the first things I want to talk about is being able to grab this right-hand price column. Okay, this is the price of the stock. Okay, this whole column right here, I'm going to grab it by left-clicking, LC for left-click, and I'm going to drag it. See, I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to drag it down, and look what it does. You see how it's flattening out the bars, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to let go. I'm going to grab it down again. I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag down, and you see what this does, right? It's just bringing everything in, squeezing it down to almost absolutely nothing. Now I can see I've got some drawing objects down here, which reminds me of another thing I'm going to tell you guys tonight. Control R. I would bind the Control R for remove to remind yourself to remove all drawing objects. I just hit Control R and I'm going to click yes. Boom. Easy way to remove all those drawing objects. If you've been drawing things on your charts with Fibonacci levels or any other levels and you just want to erase everything quickly, Control R. Now that's not default out of the box. You will have to change that in your hotkeys settings. Go and type in Vinny Emini hotkeys and go watch through our hotkeys video on some of that. So same thing, I can drag up and I can widen my stuff. So there you go. You see how I'm doing that? That is dragging it up and down. So practice that. Do it on your charts right now. Grab it. Get used to this. You're going to need to be able to widen your chart sometimes to see things a little bit clearer. You need to be able to have your charts adjusted so that you see everything. Everything here that we do is very visual. And of course, we do incorporate all of the senses. We have the audio box to also involve your senses of your hearing senses. But the visuals are extremely, extremely important. All right, have I drilled that home enough? Great. Another one. Hold the control key, CTRL. Okay, next thing, hold control. And I want you to do the same thing. Hold control and I want you to click right there again and drag it down. And watch the difference between holding control versus just click and drag. You saw what click and drag does, that's in and out. But now if I hold control, and you might have a situation where, price is way down here, but you kind of maybe want to move that up so that the price kind of comes up here. This is what the control does. I'm going to hold control now and watch what happens if I click control. I'm going to click control and you see how now, rather than widening it, I can literally move the entire thing up and down. Okay, try this for yourself right now. Hold control, slide it up and down. You got it? That's one. Now, someone had said, well, there are other ways to do that. Yes, in fact, my preferred way, I like to use the control. Again, control does a lot of cool things. Control, and then I want to use the control up or control down. This will zoom in and zoom out as well, but this is a little bit different. This one, you'll notice I'm getting less bars, right? Some people, in fact, the image that I just saw in someone else's was not from the squeeze in like we talked about before, although you see how I can still make this bigger or smaller. Now you can tell my price is down here, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna hold control and I'm gonna drag it up. I would just play with your charts for a little bit in doing these different things that I'm telling you till you get just very familiar with doing it. You just have to do this a bunch of times and then you won't even think about it and you'll just know, okay? Like I might want to zoom this in. Okay, cool. Now I can see stuff very clearly, but this is still too zoomed and we talk about that in a lot. So I'm going to hit control up, 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 up. There we go. Now that's how I get it. Now you can actually see the colors of my bars internally. I actually have a nice little navy blue color hidden in there. And sometimes you can't see because I have them. Generally, I don't want to see that color. It's another visual cue for me that I've got the proper zoom levels when I am in like this. Mine is usually going to be around here or right here is typically the level of zoom in that I am using. So now same thing I'm going to do. I'm going to drag it down and then I'm going to hold control and I'm going to drag it up. Okay. This looks pretty good to me. I'm going to turn off my overlay for a moment. You can kind of see how the chart might look. I can tell I need to hit control up, up, up a few more times to bring in some more of that price from the left. Control up, up, up. There you go. Now, if you need to look to the left, let's say that you are doing back tests and you want to go to the left. One of the things, of course, yes, you can drag it to the right. You can grab the chart. I'm just clicking on the chart and moving it to the right, dragging it to the right, and moving it left and right. This is pretty easy, but sometimes that gets annoying while you're sitting there. Okay, I got to drag way. I want to go see the morning open, right? It's a very common thing. I want to see the open from today, going all the way to the left, or you can hold the page up, page up, page up, page up, page. There we go. There's the open right there. Or I can hold the page down and go back to where I was, page down, and now it's going to go multiple pages at a time. Okay, so get used to a few of those short keys and hotkeys. Someone was asking, how do you adjust your charts? And then pay attention up here at the top right. Whenever your charts get all messed up, there are some things up here in the top right hand corner of your chart you want to pay attention to. Sometimes it's an arrow. The arrow will bring all the data right back onto your screen. That's one. And sometimes you will see an F button. That F stands for fix, or for me, I think that's what I call it. I don't know, they might have another name for it. I call it the fix it button, the F button. So I'm going to click like this. My chart gets all jacked up like this. I may want to come up there and press the fix button. You can see it right there, this is sort of the auto fix button for you to kind of adjust things the way that it's called auto scale. So I'm going to go ahead and click on F, boom, and that is going to apply the settings that I have on my chart trader settings, which again, I got a whole nother video on this, but I'm going to show you briefly. I'm going to go here, right click and go to properties on this chart, and we will be able to see the margins. Right side margin is set to 100, and I believe that is 100 pixels, not 100 bars, although don't quote me on that. It might be 100 bars, but my right side margin is set to 100. That means how much space I have over here on the right, and I believe that's, it looks like to me about 100 pixels over here. It's how much space I need on the right. If you want more space than that, you can increase that number or decrease that number. That's what happens when I pull like this. So this looks like, this might be 1,000 pixels. If you wanted yours like this, you like a lot of space over here on the right, you might want to adjust that right side margin. If I press the fix it button, it will put everything back to where I have that set. Another one, right click in that column price bar, right click, go to properties. There we go. Inside of here, I've got upper margins and lower margins. This means how much space I've got at the top of my chart from the data and from the bottom of my chart right there. These are all things that I just want you in general to be able to adjust quickly for yourself. You should know how to do this. The overlay scale, I wouldn't really necessarily worry about these, but you can look at our default settings that I've got if you are pulling my workspaces, which is going to be the next thing I'm going to show you how to get my own sent to you. There we go. There's your chart adjustments. Get familiar with those. You'll want to play with those to make adjustments to your chart, but you need to be able to be very familiar with being able to move things around. Sometimes you need to zoom them in, zoom them out, depending on what you're doing with your trade, and you need to be able to do it quickly, because again, as we're playing this like a video game, move fast, move fast, move fast, move fast. So practice it, practice it, practice it, so that it becomes second nature to you and you're not fumbling around when you really need to. I'll give you one more. Alt will fatten your bars. Okay, so first I'm going to zoom back out so you can actually see what our current bar thickness is. You kind of get the general idea, but watch what happens if I hold Alt instead of Control. Okay, this is going to be the Alt key. Holding Alt and then pressing the up arrow or the down. Watch what this does. This is going to fatten your bars. If you want thicker bars, okay, we can make them fatter, we can make them skinnier, and I usually leave them with a slight little overlay right about there. But again, take your pick on how you like them. There's some discretion with that. Again, I have suggestions for how you do it, and I have a lot of reasons for that. But if you want to play with them, at least know what you're doing. Alt will change the thickness of your bars. Yep.
Press the like button, share, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts and what you've learned.
Watch this next video.